Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Rini Puspitasari, kelas 4A, NPM 1821110058. Good afternoon everyone. I'm from the negative team and I'm the third negative speaker of my team. I will explain my opinions about this house world-bound political advancing and social network platforms such as Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, etc. Responding definition. At all social media platforms are prohibited from displaying campaign advertisements on social media during the quiet period of the 2019 election on April 14 till 16. The decision was taken after the Ministry of Communication and Information Technology or Cominfo held a meeting with the election supervisory body from body Fire 01 National Campaigns Team TKN Fire 02 National Boards BPD as well as several social media platforms including Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. So, we request and this hence being agreed all platforms not display campaigns and advertisement in column period. As we know, nowadays social media has recently been used as political tool, namely to campaign reflecting the success of the leaders of other countries such as the youth who also use cyber speech is venue for the deep and effective campaign. It seems that it has spread to Indonesia. This is cite the Barack Obama's big story as President of the United States in two periods was helped by social networks such as Twitter, blog, and Facebook. The election of Obama as U.S. president cannot be separated from the efforts of his success team that use a campaign strategy towards the internet, especially regarding use internet is politics. The profession of social users are still heavily attacked enhancement that is difficult to budget from the cookies when the volunteers from the suggest various tactics to campaign subscribers, including by opening as many accounts as possible, but original and fictitious in social media its content, especially if does not support the presidency candidate Cawapres with various was the of their socialism. There are those who fight forwards and take to the are provocative and aggressive by spreading black campaigns that behind the hustling and bustle of the 2014 presidential season can the campaign through social media can effect interfering the message voters and significant enough to influence them to cause end of the presidential and vice presidential fires doubt that very much. How effects is the 2014 presidential election campaigns on social media cyber page in order gain voters. In Indonesia, there are still more sociological traditional voters 80-90% than physiological rational voters because of the team was a successful sympathizers of the Horace team of its presidential and vice president candidate not to waste energy on social media. Those who are successful in attracting sympathy among the grassroots, uh, the lower middle average are not yet literate in the internet. We get the most voter and the number is estimated at 90% of 1.860,7 million registered voters in the KPU. So down to if the status of following Facebook are mentioned in the Twitter nonsense of the campaign. Super sentence pair to be like share requests and so on because that is not significant enough to gain voters. There is no definite measure of how big the electoral impact of the bright campaign material. Maybe a survey is needed to be sure if the campaign on social media is considered effective, but at least from the one observation as an effect, social media uses only the phantoms to be censored about the matter. Of campaign material less than 25%, the rest only glance along the copy paste until the file filled up with penetrated campaign, especially those who oral content is the tedious containing black campaign and black Haming is other, asserting that only a handful of people are affected by negative issue regarding the two far presidential and vice presidential candidate. So political jokes and social media for most users, in my opinion, are so used as media argument, but does not affect the political attitudes of each because generally already have their one cookies the are sentences and not easy to be deflected order and the hair. Rebuttal. The three speaker affirmative said the microtargeting method the social uses data for targeting niche at first violates privacy in my opinion. This microtargeting technique is actually already quite commonly done in marketing techniques. Advertisers also use a similar method. The goal is, of course, to identify the status and behavior of certain consumers who will be targeted so that their sales are more effective. This method also helps political candidates to identify and interact with voters so that their campaigns are so effective in the current information era when target preparation or no data user can implement certain communication strategies to let target choices to specific political goals. That is very important now because driving people preferences is very dependent on individual profiles. The more file disease, the easiest is to the point to certain preferences. After a person profile is forwarded, it will be easiest to the campaign team to direct one preference based on the habits, preferences, and things. For example, they have a line of content to help people preferences. For example, if there is profile version who supports the issue of gender equality and opposes racial discrimination, so President X campaign them team can direct that contains a brains on Facebook is related to content that so that President X candidate support gender equality and are not racist. So, another option displaying hoax content that President Y is racist and anti-gender equality. So, that's why microtargeting is effective because it is raises an individual level. However, the site that this method did not violate privacy because they were not given specific information on a version by version basis, but targeting was done on user patterns. For example, the Google political toolkit and YouTube campaign our candidate to promote the video using Google AdWords to raise user based on certain criteria whether age, gender, location, or other things as stated by CNN. The recursion strategy was made by Ethan Harris, professor of political science from Yale University, who studies the effects of microaggregating of political campaigns and process. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.